I like this one actually. I like this view. What do you guys think? Should I make this my thing where I sit next to the car? Obviously, I'll add B-roll. You know, like the interior. Maybe like I'll do a thing, but I feel like it'll make me get more comfortable with speaking in front of a camera. But maybe let me try it. Let me try it out. You guys give me feedback. Let me know if this sitting here in front of the camera works or you want me to be behind the camera. But yeah, welcome. This is the video number 2 of the resuscitation attempt at this channel. And today we'll be discussing my 2012 Mazda MX5 sitting here behind me. This is an NC2. NC being the 3rd generation, and then 2 meaning it's the first facelift. So there's NC1, which is I think in South Africa would have come 2006 until like maybe 2009, 10ish, and then we got the NC2 from 2010, I think, like until 2014, and then there's like literally a handful of NC3s. Not much changes or not much differences between the NC2s and 3s, just some slight facial difference. I mean, like bumper differences in the front, and I'm not sure about the other details. I think I need to just find a little bit more, but there's substantial differences between the NC1s and NC2s. One being the look. I prefer the look of the NC2 and 3 with preference to the NC3. I love the NC3 front bumper. So there's a big difference in the look. And there was big differences in the suspension. You'll see like the NC1 is slightly higher. The engine is different. So on the NC1, 2, what they did is custom make the same engine, same power. However, the internals of the engines are different. The NC2s have a forged crankshaft. I think, I'm not sure about the rods and whatnot, but it's slightly stronger. So I think the rev limiter is also increased. I forget the numbers, might be 7.1 to 7.4. Yeah, so the rev limiter has increased. Same power, funny enough. But from what I heard in some videos that I watched is that the NC2s take forced induction like turbos and supercharger much easier. And I haven't done that. My car is pretty much stock except for a full exhaust. Maybe let's get into what has been done. Full exhaust from the back. It's forget the brand now. Roadster Sport. Yeah, Roadster Sport. So there's so it doesn't have a cat in the front. It has a secondary cat and a full exhaust at the back. And it's been, except for the convenience changes, like this is the stubby antenna, which I also changed from that longer one, and the smart top module which I installed, which allows for hands-free movement of the roof. The exhaust has been the best mod I've done, by far. The response improved. Sounds fantastic. It is a nice cold start, but it's not obnoxious once you're driving, unless you're on it. Once you're on it, it makes a nice, great sound. But if you're below 3.5, I think it also had something to do with the tunes. I think there's also an intake thing which happens in there, but I'll go into that in another video. It sounds fantastic, so that's the big thing. So let's not talk about the mods per se. I think it's more about the ownership experience about the car, right? And since I've owned it, I think I drive a little bit more aggressive than the previous owners. I got the car with 40,000 Ks on the clock, just some context. From We Buy Cars. It had 2 faults listed on it. One was a roadworthy fault listed on it. One being a cracked fog light, which was changed and now since cracked on the new one. And there was an issue reported that the fuel flap was not opening. But I understand that what happened there is that the fuel flap opener is in a very awkward space, so people don't know where it is. So that's that. I got the car 3 years ago for 240,000. at the time, and it was more on the expensive side for Mazda MX5 NCs. The market has seen a big increase. I don't know what happened in the last few years. So the prices, I could easily sell it with 40,000 Ks more, maybe, for at least at a minimum, especially because the condition is still good. Slightly more than I got it for, but again, demand, supply, are you in a rush? No rush. Yeah, how has it been owning it? In one word, it's been, I think, fun summarizes. It's been a lot of fun. Nothing has broken besides the cracked fog lamp. I've changed tires 3 times, and I'll explain. I'll change 3 tires. One, in the first year of owning it, I bought in February, so in like November of owning it, I hit a brick on the highway, hit both my left side, and I wasn't even driving that fast, but I just didn't swerve, I wasn't paying attention, I guess. Hit a brick, had to replace the left tires, and then once in Hoedspruit on my way, it was at Hoedspruit, I think, coming from Palabora, going to Leidenburg, trying to enjoy the mountains there, hit a brick. So I've had tire gone. So I've had to change my tires. I've changed tires 3 times. Luckily, insurance paid for it, the first one, and then I got tire insurance for the other time. I had gotten tire insurance, so they sorted that out. So that's, and I've changed pads, front pads. I've changed, I think once or twice. But I think I'm much more. One, I'm not using Mazda stuff, so I think I'm using a cheaper brand. I forget the brand that I'm using, so I think that just wears out. It is not hard on your disc, it just wears out. I'd rather that than being hard on the disc. I've changed the rears once, and that's it. Again, I do things myself, and the rears I think were 500 rand. The fronts are like 800 or less. So that's it. Fuel consumption depends on how you drive. Since the exhaust, it's improved significantly because the car breathes easier, and there's been some adjustments in the tune to take into account the exhaust. So it runs slightly leaner, but in a safe place. And as a result, when I'm on it, especially when I'm on it, the fuel consumption is lower. So I think before everything, if I'd get on it, I'd average I'd get into the 12s, and now I'd never get into, 12s per 100. Now maybe 9.5 when I'm really, really on it. Normally it's sitting with 8.5 on average. So car's been good. How does it drive, right? Or before I get into that, practicality, there is no practicality, none whatsoever. So get used to that. So if you have a family, it's not the car for you. So there's no practicality, there's no spare wheel. And to me, it's neither here nor there. What else? Yeah, practicality does not exist. It's very tight in there. I am 1.9 and I barely fit. By barely fit, I mean the seat is at the furthest. This can go backwards at the lowest point, and I still had to get they call it's a JASS or JAS performance in the UK lowering bracket, which allowed me to go down about this much. About like 5 centimeters lower than where it is. So that's giving me a little bit of more leg room and become a little bit more comfortable. So practicality for someone tall, not so much. Driving experience for me, there's a reason everyone says Miata is the answer. Miata is always the answer. There's a reason. These cars, and this is the worst one of the 4 generations. This is the worst one, and these cars drive fantastically. The suspension is more on the softer side, so when you get hard into a bend, you'll feel the car lean, but that's good because it gives you the feedback and tells you when to back off, right? So it's very difficult for you to overcook it without the car telling you that you're about to overcook it. The traction control also allows a little bit of play. My tires, I think my tires are slightly too big. I have 225s, 45s. The car comes with 205s, and so I think I have too much tire for the power that I'm making. But the car does allow a little bit of slip before it kicks in, which is the traction control kicks in. Fantastic. Suspension is nice and soft, as I mentioned, but gives you a lot of feedback. Steering wheel is also hydraulic power steering, so it gives you a lot of feedback, so you know exactly what the car is doing. And yeah, so it drives great. I cannot. These things, until you do it, it's one of those things. Until you do it, you'll never really understand. Until you drive one, you won't understand. It's like the 86. There's no power whatsoever, but the fun of revving the car out. Driving a slow car fast, as people say. There's nothing to that. I used to have a BRZ back in the day, and this is very, very similar in the way it likes to rev out. It likes to rev. A little bit more torque low down, I think, compared to the BRZ, but it loves to rev out. It encourages rev out, and even when you do that, you're still within the speed limit. Like first, you sound like you're going so fast, but when you look down, you're going like 80. That's the kind of car it is. You can use something to go vibrate becomes fun, because you can, once the car is warm, you can enjoy it, right? Gearbox gives you very good. People have said, experts rather than myself have said, the Mazda MX5 top 5 gearboxes ever made, and I think it's there next to the Honda Civic Type R's, the Porsches. It's there, and I can understand why. I used to think the BRZ gearbox is great, but this one here takes it to another level. So feedback, it's a driver's car. It's literally that. I know it has, similar to like a Porsche, it's like a hairdresser's car. It has that reputation, and in South Africa, this is driven by old people, to be honest. And let's not lie about the fact it's mainly driven by older people. Damn. Who are retired. I think a lot of young people are coming into it, but it's still one of those cars which is reserved for the older people, and reserved by, as in, most people, I want a GTI, I want a Polo GTI or a Golf GTI, I want an R. And there aren't many, actually, if you think about it, I mean, it's sad that they don't sell these cars anymore in the country, but there aren't many cheap or affordable sports cars. I mean, 240 at the time when I bought the car would have got you a top spec, not a sport, top spec, I think it's a GLXS Suzuki Swift. And most people, when they buy a car, and you'll be alone, you're single, don't have children, most people are going to go and do that. But like, if you look around, there's so many fun options that people, just because of the way they think, or whatever it might be, so many options as this. It helps that I have other cars I can use. So the practicality is not that important. So like, for example, if I'm going to Limpopo, I can use the Forester as an example. Limpopo being where I grew up, I can use the Forester, I can use my wife's car as or whatever it might be. Or if I'm going there alone, I can use it. Right? If I'm going there for like a weekend, I'm going to like a funeral or wedding by myself, I can use it. Right? So, I mean, yeah. I guess I'm trying to say is there's so many options which people don't look at. I talked about in the previous video about the market in South Africa being a German-inspired market. So I mean, the cheapest German convertible roadster is the Z4. Was there any other one I can't think of in South Africa? The Z4, and that's into the millions. I mean, you can get one for cheap, but it's not going to be the older ones for cheap. But it's not going to be as cheap to maintain. Or affordable. Cheap is a very relative word. They're not going to be as affordable to maintain. What don't I like about it? I think the build quality inside. You can see where they spent their money, right? Where they cheaped out, where they spent their money. The inside squeaks a lot here and there. it's not as much soundproofing because they try to keep the car light. The car is 1.1 tons, I think, something like that. So there's a lot of squeaking, cheap plastics. There's no tech. It's a 2011 car. No, actually, if you think about it, theoretically, realistically, it's a 2006 car, right? Which is some slight upgrades inside. So the tech is non-existent, but that's also part of the fun, right? It just tells you to just drive, focus on the driving, leave all these other things. So if you want like Android CarPlay, you can get like a JVC or whatever double din thing. You can replace that if that's for you. But I'm neither here nor there. I have like I forgot, there's a Tuna Fly adapter which connects to the aux, and then that's where I play music. And the sound system is quite good. The sound system is quite good. Looks are subjective. I think it looks okay. It looks cool. I think the S2000 looks better. If you, at the time when I was looking for the car, what would I have bought? I would have bought an S2000, but it just doesn't make that much sense, like price wise. And yeah, and actually in real life, from what I've seen, some videos I've seen in real life, like driving, there isn't really much of a big difference. I think on the track, that's where you'll see a big difference, but you'd have to spend a little bit of money to get this car, like, you know, like the coilovers, sway bars, etc., to get it to perform on track like a S2000. And which I think in the longer term for me, I'd like to do. Yeah, I have thought about forced induction, but I think I'll leave it as it is for now. Enjoy it. And yeah, so yeah, that's the MX5. If I feel like I've missed some stuff, I'll just put like a voiceover. But yeah, that's my time with the X1. I've really enjoyed it. I think more people need to look into these kind of cars. Yeah, driving a rear-wheel drive car is very different than driving an all-wheel drive car, four-wheel drive car, and a front-wheel drive car. It's just a very different experience. It's very nice. It's not actually fun enough. It's not as fun on the skid pad as the 86 was. I find it doesn't like that kind of work. I don't find it. Yeah, I think maybe because of the 86 maybe slightly stiffer and it plays a little bit more. This doesn't like that. Doesn't like it as much. I've taken it on track once or twice as Smart Corps. Good fun. But I drove it with traction control on. It was good fun. So yeah, but it's cheap and nothing has gone wrong. It's 80,000 Ks now. I know it's relative. To me that's a new car, but nothing has gone wrong. Nothing has gone wrong. There is some issue with it leaking inside. Oil in the longer term is cheaper than an engine. That's what I always say. Oil is cheaper than an engine. So, learn how to change your oil, do it yourself. It's literally a 10-minute job. Do that. Your cars will last. Your cars will thank you. Especially if you have a turbo car. That's another thing. Especially if you have a turbo car, do not follow your manufacturer's recommended oil services. Do not wait for the computer to tell you, oh no, we use a drive-based, drive-based, how hard you drive tells us how long you need to change your oil, a year or 10,000 or less, like that. You will not regret it. You will not regret it, actually. Oil doesn't get better the older it gets. Newer oil is better. Just do it. Sorry to ramble. But yeah, that's me. That's my car. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know. And thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate you spending your time watching me ramble or listening to me ramble and watching my crappy YouTube videos. Thank you. See you on the next one. Cheers.